We live once again. Pep Talk UK, Pro Beez Benji's boxing in the building. Easy like a Sunday afternoon. Benji, how are you?
Mate, it's 2021. I've messed up the intro already. I had it all planned out and I've just gone to pot. I was meant to say, hello all. I'm back at the mic with Mr. Pro Beez on Pep Talk UK, the best boxing channel on YouTube for your interviews, your news, and of course your fight reviews, which is what we're going to look at today. I'm generally in a very happy mood. I spent the last 48 hours binge watching the new season of Cobra Kai on Netflix. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Bitcoin is at $34,000 for one Bitcoin, where it was starting 2021 out, which is absolutely incredible. But of course, people don't want to know about it. We don't want to talk about any of that rubbish. We're here to talk about boxing, and I'm well up for it, Mr. Beez. I hope you're well, and a happy new year to you.
All right. Okay, so we're going to have a couple guests come in. H Money from Devin Haney Promotions is about to join us from the US of A. And also we're hoping to have Umar Sadiq, super middleweight as well. So literally a full house. But before they come in, we got to talk about Ryan Garcia's stoppage of Luke Campbell in round 7. What did you make of the fight, Benji?
Well, look, first of all, I got a man of my word. I got to stick to what I said I was going to do or say when we did the preview for this. I said if Ryan Garcia wins this fight, first of all, he deserves all the props, all the kudos, all the plaudits. He deserves all of it. And I said if he was to stop Luke Campbell, it would really be something. So look, straight off the bat, I have to make this really, really clear for anyone watching and anyone and everyone watching. Garcia did the business. He did a job on Luke Campbell. He stopped him with a fantastic body shot. He even got off the ground in the second round to come back and do that. He showed a hell of a lot of grit. A lot of the question marks and things that we had about Ryan Garcia. Is he just an Instagram sensation, a pretty boy celebrity type boxer with little skill? No, he's not that. He's legit. He's a real deal. I said that if he beat Luke Campbell, it was a massive statement. I rate Luke Campbell very highly. I thought Luke Campbell had the skills, the pedigree, the experience to beat him. And I was quite confident that I wanted Luke Campbell to win the fight. I'm not going to try and hide my bias. But am I going to sit here like some Luke Campbell fanboy that's heartbroken and can't get over it and is now going to be really bitter towards Garcia? Absolutely not. Ryan Garcia won that fight fair and square. He stopped the fight with a fantastic body shot. We can talk about what Campbell should have done or could have done. I completely understand that Campbell is gutted, is quite heartbroken about the thing. Watching the fight, I think Campbell will look back on it and he will be kicking himself a little bit that maybe he didn't apply more pressure after the knockdown. I don't think it was Campbell's. Well, of course, it wasn't Campbell's best night at the office. He got stopped. But I think Campbell will feel that he did not do his best boxing. I think he will feel that he was capable of doing more in the fight. But I don't want to focus on that too much. I want to focus on the fact that Ryan Garcia won this fight very handily and he looked great. And the power is obviously there. He looked big in the ring. He looked strong in the ring. And it sets up very, very tasty fights now with the likes of Lopez, Tank, and of course, Devin Haney.
Obviously, we talked about Garcia now is the mandatory for Devin Haney's WBC World Lightweight title. So big fights ahead. You mentioned this, Luke Campbell. Will he have any regrets? Now, he put down Luke Campbell in the second round. Big overhand left hand, right? Put him down. Yeah. I must say Garcia recovered quite well. He did. Yeah. I was checking to see if he was stable, if the legs were wobbling. No, they weren't. He passed the chin check for me. Right. Yeah. What do you think you could have done more, Luke Campbell, to kind of season that moment?
Well, look, obviously, we've seen it so many times that a knockdown happens, and then the boxer who scored the knockdown goes rushing.
Sorry, Benji. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. H-Money,
right.
Is that?
All right, Devin Haney Promotions member, part of the team. H-Money in the building. How are you?
I'm good. How you brothers doing?
We're good, man. We're gonna get right back to you, man. Benji's just in the middle of a point, and we're gonna get it in, man. Don't worry, we're gonna get it in. All right, Benji. Sorry to interrupt.
No, not a problem, H-Money. It's fantastic to see you. I was just saying that Luke Campbell obviously put Garcia down in that second round. He didn't want to go rushing in with the windmills because obviously a hurt fighter is still a dangerous fighter, especially someone like Garcia who's got that mean-ass left hook. So he didn't want to go steaming in there carelessly. But at the same time, I think he went too far in the opposite direction. He didn't up the pace. He didn't pressure as much as he could have. He stayed too calm. He stayed too relaxed, if that's possible. I'm not saying that Luke Campbell should have gone in swinging, but I think he should have definitely tried to get a little bit more on the front foot and put some punches together, some combinations, and try and apply that pressure. I think Luke Campbell let him off the hook a little bit, just a little bit.
Benji. By H-Money, we're going to get to the top boxers in the building. Umar, Sadiq.
What's up, people?
Right. This is a full compliment, you know. This is that jollof rice. This is that meatloaf. It's all in one right now. How you doing? You good?
I'm blessed, man. How are you lot?
We're doing well, man. You're joined by H-Money, Benji's Boxing. It's a party once more. We're going to get right back to you, right? All right. We'll allow H-Money to kind of give us his reaction on the fight last night. Garcia's win over Luke Campbell.
It was a great fight. It was a very exciting fight. Both fighters, they gave us 110%. Luke Campbell, he showed us a lot of skills in there, but Ryan Garcia stepped up to the plate and he made a statement last night. Ryan Garcia, he proved everybody wrong. He showed the world that he is a real fighter. And Ryan Garcia showed me a lot of heart for him to get knocked down and get back up. And he proved himself. You know, he showed us tremendous heart. Ryan Garcia is a real fighter. Ryan Garcia is the real deal. He is the real deal.
Hey, you said it is a real deal, right? So I saw on Fight Hype, I saw his reaction to the win by Ryan Garcia. And what he said it was a good win, but he saw mistakes. I mean, is that something that you can kind of elaborate on?
Oh, Devin Haney, he said he saw mistakes in Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, that's what he said he saw. He said it was a good win, but I saw mistakes.
Yes, he made a lot of mistakes. Just starting off with Ryan Garcia not using his jab at all. You know, he doesn't throw a jab. Ryan is throwing all hooks, and we see that he can get hit with big shots. That's not the first time Ryan Garcia has been hurt before. So his flaws, we could talk about his chin. I don't think Ryan Garcia has the best chin, but he has tremendous heart. And we know Ryan Garcia, he's willing to go to war. He's willing to lay it all on the line, you know, and things happen in the sport of boxing, especially if you're going for a knockout, if you're going to war, if you're letting your hands go, you can get countered. And that's what happened to Ryan Garcia last night. But it is a lot of flaws that I see in Ryan Garcia. And Devin Haney, he wants to make that fight happen next.
All right, you know what? I've got to take a sip of my OJ, man, because I'm about to, ask some questions to the top boxer right now. All right, so look. Had to get in the OJ. All right. Umar, I know we spoke via WhatsApp, and I know you were watching the fight last night. Now, you're a boxer. You're a professional boxer. You do bits in the ring. What did you see last night? What's your reaction?
Obviously, I was just joined, so sorry if I start repeating things that you lot have discussed already. But watching the fight, from the get-go, from the first round, Garcia came out in a way that I don't think many people expected him to. He came out and imposed himself in the ring. So he took command of center ring straight away and imposed himself on Luke and got Luke really to back up just with his body language. To give a bit of background as well, I've always, like many people, I've seen a lot about Ryan Garcia, heard him talk, and he seems to have the complete package, or he seems to have the complete package outside of the ring. But I wasn't ready to start backing him until I can actually see that the guy can fight, because boxing's full of people who are hyped up based on accolades that aren't very credible. So this was the fight where we're going to find out about Ryan Garcia. And again, so back to the fight, he's come in and he's imposed himself from the very get-go. So first thing I'm thinking is, all right, this guy's got courage. It could be young courage because he's only 22, but he's got courage. You know, he steps in with a world-class fighter and he's gone right to the center of the ring, taking control. He won the first round, in my opinion. But then gradually you could see that Luke Campbell and Shane had a very good game plan, because there were things that Luke Campbell was doing where I could see that he was investing for later rounds. Well, the obvious one was touching the body, but it was also the shot selection and the way he was managing his energy systems versus how he was forcing Garcia to not recover as well as he might have wanted to. So there would be times when Garcia would throw like a looping hook and miss, and then Luke would step in and just jab him to the body. Didn't need to be a heavy shot, just needed to disrupt the recovery. He was doing things like that. But the biggest shot that I like, because I actually called this, I was with people, and he kept throwing, Luke Campbell kept throwing the left, from a southpaw stance, the left uppercut to the body. And at first I was hitting Garcia on the left side, and I was like, well, as the fight goes on, he's going to get his range better. He's going to move that to the middle, then he's going to look for the liver. Then he kept doing it, and I said, at any point now, I said, because he got Garcia's respect for that shot, and I said, at any moment now, he's going to feint it to the bottom and he's going to throw it to the top. I kid you not, 5 seconds later, he looks down, so he sold it. He looks down, started a shot as though it was going to go down, and then looped it upwards and knocked him down. I was like, brilliant. I could see that they've got a great plan here. And it could work, especially because he was taking the gas out of Garcia. I was thinking, if this goes past 6, Garcia could be in problems. But then the tide started to shift, you know, from the 5th when Garcia hurt Luke with the, what shot was it? A left hook. It was a left hook.
Left hook, and he turned it back just before the round ended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he sort of heard the bell and then sort of turned around for a section to make sure. And then he went for it. Garcia went for it in the 6th, went for the stoppage. And in that round, I was thinking, whoa, inexperience could be the undoing of him here, because if Campbell survives this, Garcia would have nothing left. But then he was intelligent enough, Garcia, to go for it, but know when to stop before emptying the tank. So I was impressed by that as well. And then, you know, it carried on, and then consequently in the 7th round, the shot that I thought Campbell was going to catch Garcia with was the very same shot that Garcia caught Campbell with and ended the fight. It was brilliant. There's nothing you could do when you get hit in the liver like that. There's literally nothing you could do. I've seen scientific documentaries or whatever, you know, reconstructions of what happens inside a body when that happens. And scientifically speaking, if someone catches you in the right spot there, there's absolutely nothing you can do. So that was a brilliant performance, I thought, for Garcia. He's won me over. Well, he's won my respect as a fighter. And, you know, fair play to him. Like, he deserves all the great success that he's having, because the guy can actually fight.
All right, man. Umar Sadiq, man, top boxer, top analyst, yeah? I see you. All right. We're going to engage the viewers just a little bit before we do our own thing again. All right. October Red, how you doing? Hope you're well. Good afternoon. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I knew Garcia would win. But what I didn't expect was Campbell to knock Garcia down with the same shot I expected Campbell to get knocked out with. Benji, straight towards yourself, mate.
Oh, hindsight's a wonderful thing, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there today, and they're all over Twitter and all over social media. They knew that Garcia was going to win the fight, and they probably knew what round it was going to be in, what second of the round, and what shot was going to finish the fight. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. No disrespect to October Red. I'm sure he did pick Garcia to win. A lot of people did. How the fight actually played out, I think. Sorry
to cut you off. October Red is a female.
It's a she.
Okay. No.
From the Midlands as well. From the Midlands as well.
Really? Oh, I do apologise, October Red.
Right.
Obviously, with a name like October Red, it's, let's not go down the path of gender assignment and all that. Let's stick to the boxing. Anyway, so I do apologise for that slip. What was I saying? Yeah, a lot of people picked Garcia to win. The way he went about it, getting up off the floor, was impressive. I thought the way that he saw it wasn't just the fact that it was that body shot; it's the way he sold it. The way he came in, you could see Luke Campbell actually lifted his hands up. He thought a shot to the head was coming, so he kind of got suckered into that a little bit. But it kind of is what it is. Fair point. If you managed to predict the Garcia win, fantastic. Obviously, I didn't, but you win some, you lose some.
Interesting points. All right, guys, smash that like button. Pro Beez Benji's boxing. Umar Sadiq, H Money from Team Haney. All right, H. Now you're telling me that Ryan Garcia is now certified for you, right? You saw enough last night. Were you particularly impressed by his powers of recovery? Because he took that knockdown in the second round, quite well, I thought. You know, he was stable after that, and he continued doing what he was doing, putting his shots together, you know, backing Campbell up. What did you make of his powers of recovery?
He showed me he showed me that he got a chin, and he took a big shot. It wasn't a flash knockdown. He took a hard shot, and he kept coming forward. He wasn't scared. He showed me just a tremendous heart, man. And the guy, he showed me that he could recover. He could take a big shot and he can bounce back. He showed me that he can get knocked down and he can get back up. And he got a lot of heart, brother. He got a lot of heart. And he showed me that he's a warrior. And he showed us a new tattoo, that he just got a new tattoo that said warrior.
Warrior, right?
Man, that's that Mexican heart. Pro Beez. That's that Mexican heart. He has the real Mexican style. People get fooled by saying Ryan Garcia, oh, he's a pretty boy. He's an animal. Ryan Garcia is an animal. He showed it last night. The guy, he's very exciting. He loves to let his hands go, and he doesn't mind going to war. And I think Ryan Garcia is a dangerous fighter, honestly, and he has tremendous power. His left hook is devastating. His left hook is one of the best in the business.
Sweet. I'm not going to lie. That round, I think Umar mentioned it in the 5th round, when Luke Campbell kind of turned his back at that point, and the bell just kind of, you know, saved Luke Campbell at that point. But we saw that left hook, you know, cause, I don't know, it caused a problem for Luke Campbell later on, because I felt like Luke kind of got a bit disheartened at that point, a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. That left, he has got great power. You know, I was watching every shot he throws, his feet are planted, and he's trying to hit his opponent with bad intentions. You could see it. You could see it. So
the other thing with that shot that Luke got hit with, it was on the temple. When you watch back on the replay, it hit him on the temple. Just like Umar said before, once you get hit with that liver shot, your body shuts down. If you get hit on the temple and your legs go, there's not a hell of a lot you can do about it. I mean, he was just very lucky that it was like the last punch of the round and he got to go and have a sit down, because I feel, you know, probably like a lot of others, if that shot had landed maybe 30 seconds earlier, the fight could possibly have been over then, because it was quite obvious that Luke didn't have control of his legs after that temple shot land. It just hit right in that sweet spot that sort of seems to shut everything off.
Hey, I'm going to keep it in the States right now. Sorry, I've got to get to H Money again. Now, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, right? What have you seen last night that can convince you that he could beat Gervonta Davis?
It's a few things. First of all, he's the bigger guy. He's naturally the bigger guy. Ryan Garcia is about 5'11", and Gervonta Davis is about 5'5". So Ryan Garcia is a natural lightweight. Tank Davis, he's coming up from 130 pounds in his last fight. So also Ryan Garcia has tremendous speed. He has the power, and we've seen Tank Davis take big shots from Leo Santa Cruz. And if Ryan Garcia hits Tank Davis with those same punches, it can be over. It can be over. Ryan Garcia is a dangerous fighter. He has a puncher's chance against anybody. You know what I mean? So Tank has power as well, but Ryan Garcia will present a lot of problems for Gervonta Tank Davis.
Wow. Umar, I know you wanted to kind of interject just before that point.
I was just going to touch about the Luke Campbell thing. You could see that he was, after that left hook, he was still cognitive because he was still making good choices. Put one arm out, maintain the distance, step out of range, but his body was just not cooperating quite the same. But with what H just said about Garcia and Gervonta, I just wanted to interject with that because, yeah, he's the bigger guy, but if it was that simple, then every taller guy would always win a fight. And I know that's not what you meant. But I think it all comes down to game plans and being able to execute on the game plan, really. And that was my biggest reason of giving Garcia a good chance last night. So, for example, the left hook to the body where Luke thought was going to the head, but went to the body instead. That was straight out of the Canelo boxing book.
Yeah.
You know, straight out of it. And you can see the influence he has there. So he's in a very good team. We're very good at analyzing and breaking people down and figuring out what to do against them. That being said, though, Gervonta is also in a very good team that is good at breaking people down and coming out with the best game plans against them. And what better way to prove that than to see what Mayweather did against Canelo? You know? So we got to take that into consideration and look at it as Gervonta is very unlikely to fight Garcia the same way he fought Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has never been known as a big puncher. I mean, he stops people, but he's never been known as a guy to put your lights out. So
puncher,
yeah. So exactly. So there'll be more. There'll be a different approach, I believe, and also as sharp as Garcia is, Gervonta is also really explosive. The difference really is that Garcia could throw combinations, whereas Gervonta would throw one or two, but they'll both be equally, well, more so devastating. So it's an interesting fight, though, isn't it? Like, if you hear the way that we're talking about it, let's see what happens. But I don't think I don't think it's easy to pick a favorite in that fight.
Benji, just over to you. If Tank would say Tank lands on Garcia's chin on the basis of what we saw yesterday, right? Luke Campbell put him down, okay? Tank's power is different. Let's tell the truth, it's different, right? Could you see Ryan Garcia recovering if Tank hit him?
Well, you know what? The prospect of these two fighting actually kind of reminds me a little bit. It's going to sound ridiculous, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. David Haye and Enzo Macronelli. The two people that at the time they boxed, I think the fight was called Bombs Away, and it was literally billed as a kind of who lands first wins. And I think that's the way I would see this fight. And it's going to come down to, I mean, what would fascinate me is how both of them start round one. Who's going to give who some respect of the power? Are both going to be sort of cagey and cautious? Or is it going to be a more of a macho bravado thing about who's going to come out and look for that to land that big shot? I don't see the fight going the distance if it happens. But I think it's like we said before, Bees, when we were doing the preview, and we were talking about all the permutations of these four in the lightweight division. There's so much power going on there. It just makes for delicious fights. Us as boxing fans, we want to see 50-50 pick 'em fights with a lot of power involved where anyone can stop anyone. And that's generally what I feel how we have with this now. Garcia's announced himself completely. Let's just hope these fights get made and they happen. I wouldn't want to pick a winner. I see it as because of the power involved with both of them. I think Garcia has the power to knock Davis out. But then again, what you would never write off. You'd never say that Tank couldn't knock someone out because he has proven power. Let's just hope it gets made.
Let's hope it gets. We got a comment here. I've got to direct this straight to H Money. Right. Pepsi UK, Tank is a hype job. He's avoided everyone at 130. Who has he faced at 135? Now, I'm asking you, obviously you're part of the opposing team, Team Haney. Do you guys believe that Tank ain't really all that?
No, I believe Tank is a great fighter. And I feel like Tank has tremendous power. Like you said, he's very athletic. And he's a very aggressive type of fighter. He comes to get the knockout. So Tank he's a serious threat. I think Tank might be the toughest matchup possibly for Devin Haney in the future. I think that'll be his toughest match against Tank. And I think Bill Haney, he said the same exact thing. So Tank, he is the real deal. Tank is not a hype job. He's the truth, bro. You know what I mean? The guy can really fight. He's explosive. He has a lot of power. He kind of reminds me of Zab Judah a little bit. Southpaw like Zab, power, explosive. All he got to do is take his craft very serious, dedicate himself to the sport of boxing, and Tank Davis is a problem for anybody.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. When Tank fights, even when he's not putting the greatest of performances or he looks vulnerable, it looks like it's because he was being complacent. At any point in the ring, or when in his fights, when he's in the ring, he always looks like he can take control when he chooses to. So sometimes when he's doing things, it almost looks like he's just practicing things that he might have been doing in training. But he genuinely does look in control in his fights, bar one recently. But all the rest of the fights I've seen him in, he's in control the whole time, even when he's looking vulnerable.
But would you say, Umar, that obviously Tank against Leo Santo, before you got that spectacular knockout, he was taking a lot of lever. He was just taking the lever to go and get the knockout. With Ryan Garcia, he holds power.
Sorry to cut you off, but if you remember, he didn't look very bothered. He was happy to do that. Even a knockout itself, he had Santa Cruz against the rope, and Santa Cruz was throwing panic shots, and his panic shot happened to be a straight right hand, and he threw the same shot and hit Tank with it twice, but Tank was still standing there. And the way he counted the third one tells you that he was standing there taking it, and he was still thinking. So it wasn't that he was getting hit because, he had no choice. This is my point. He looks like he's in control still. He can switch up at any moment he wants. Right. So far.
All right, guys, smash that like button. We have Benji, Umar, Sadiq, and H Money in the building. All right, we're going to get straight to your points and your questions. Let's take it from the top. All right, A-Obs, Ryan versus Tank Cinco de Mayo. And Benji, good idea, but something tells me to make these big fights, it ain't going to be that easy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Straight away, Ryan Garcia is going to sit down at the table and he's going to say, look at my Instagram following, look at how many people want to see me fight, look at the pay-per-view numbers I can generate, blah, 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 blah. Cinco de Mayo, that's my date. I want X amount of the pie. And then, of course, Tank, he's not going to settle for that. Him and his team, they're not going to want to be playing all the B-side stuff, which is understandable. So the prospect of that is fantastic. I love the thought of that fight, Cinco de Mayo, and it's a great thing. But unfortunately, when you get down to the negotiation of it, I think that could actually turn out to be tougher than the fight itself. So who knows? Fingers crossed, but I hope they can make it.
All right, back to A-Obs again. This is to you, Umar. Luke should have emptied the tank in round 2. Now you're a fighter, right? This is from a fight's perspective. Now you've got someone hurt, right? But then also you're saying in your head, well, I've got another 10 rounds to go. Do I empty the tank, or do I just marinate slowly the opponent before finishing him off in strategic style?
There are so many things that potentially would have gone through Luke's head in that moment that for us onlookers from the outside, especially for anyone that's not a fighter, it's easy to say what he should have done. But really, speaking in reality, chances are these are just some of the things that might have been going through his mind. We don't know much about Garcia because we've never seen him hurt. We don't know how he recovers. So I need to analyze the situation or assess the situation and act accordingly. He went down heavy, but he looks that he's recovered. Do I want to walk into something? The guy bangs hard and he's got sharp punches. It's only the second round have I just caught him cold. And then, like you said, I've got another 10 rounds. How much energy do I want to put into this and possibly blow the tank or walk into something? And then now I'm in America having to catch up from getting knocked down myself. So there's and then whatever else he might have been experiencing whilst he's in the ring, because there are always things as a fighter that you experience in the ring that you can't see from outside. I've been in fights myself and felt and seen certain things during the fight and then watched it back and I can't even recognize it on video. So it's hard to say he should have gone for him because we don't know what he was thinking. And again, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But in the heat of the moment, you have to analyze all these things and make decisions in split seconds. Can you analyze all of that I've just said, plus more potentially, and make an informed decision in a second or two? That's what it comes down to. It's not an easy task. So I don't think he did wrong by not going for it. Could he have got him out? Maybe, but we don't know.
Umar, just back to you again. Okay, so look, Luke Campbell knocks down Ryan Garcia in the second round, right? Effectively a 10-8 round, right? My opinion. What do you think he could have done to kind of build on it? I know it's easier said than done because Ryan Garcia, from what I saw last night, mate, the guy's a problem child. He packs power. You know, yeah. He's a good fighter.
Yeah. There was one more thing I forgot to mention as well, is that Luke Campbell's been down several times himself in fights and come back strong. So he would have been thinking, so it's in his psyche to believe that people can come back from knockdowns. But to answer your question, what he could have done to maximize on it, I think carry on doing what got you the knockdown in the first place, because he did neglect it after. So remember I was talking about the left uppercut to the body and then switched it to the head. He didn't mix that up so much anymore after the knockdown. And I'm not sure why, but that was because I literally called it. I was with my friends and I said it. I said, at some point later on, this is what he's going to do. And he'd done it 5 seconds later. And I was like, shit, I didn't expect it that soon. And then he just neglected it after. So maybe if he continued to do that, because he definitely had Garcia's respect from it, especially after knocking him down. But again, it's easy to sit outside and tell him what he should have done whilst he's in the fight.
Hey, H, I've got to say that Ryan Garcia fought a little bit differently to what I've seen before previously, because usually he has the high guard and then he throws that left hook off that high guard. This time, his hands were a lot lower. You notice this time, it was a bit different. So I don't know, maybe even in the game plan for Luke Campbell, something changed on the night. Is that something that you saw?
I seen him in the high guard. I seen him coming forward with his high guard.
A lot high, yeah.
Yeah, he came in with the high guard like Canelo, how Canelo fought Colin Smith, kind of. But he did drop his guard at certain times. But Luke Campbell had him thinking in that ring. And I mean, after the second round, Luke Campbell made some adjustments in there, and he had Ryan Garcia thinking. And Ryan looked confused at certain points. I seen some of those flaws that Devin Haney was talking about, but Ryan just had tremendous heart, and he wouldn't be denied. He wouldn't be denied, and he was determined. He had the determination and the heart to keep fighting. And Ryan, man, he's the truth, bro. He's the truth. Ryan is a dog. He's a dog. Don't be fooled by his looks. The man is coming to bring it every time. That's how he fights, bro. Ryan Garcia, he doesn't come in there and try to run in the ring. No, Ryan Garcia, he's looking for the knockout. Even in the first round, Ryan Garcia was looking for the knockout. The whole fight, bro. And that's how he fights. That's exactly how he fights.
Benji, could we say that? Okay, so Luke Campbell, after he dropped Garcia, there was a small window where I felt like Garcia was in a place that he had never been before, and his spirit a little bit was, I wouldn't say broken, but it was hindered a little bit. I mean, did you see that? Because I saw something when he went back down to his corner and sat down. I saw like, hold on a minute, this guy just rocked me. I'm in a place I've never been before.
Well, I think, you know, again, as we talked about before this fight, there was the fight with Carlos Morales where Garcia did have a tougher fight than he was probably expecting. I think it was probably a tougher fight than a lot of people were expecting. He did have problems in that, and he did get hurt in that fight. And going back to his corner after being put down, it will have brought back memories of that fight. He may well have thought, well, I'm back in that situation again. But at the same time, he can have looked back to that and he could say, well, look, I got hurt in that fight and I came back and won it. I've been hurt. I've had trouble before. I've come back and won. So I think there will have been a hell of a lot going through his head on his way back to the corner. There'll have been a lot going on and processing. And I think, you know, it speaks to the corner as well that they've got to appreciate that all these different things are going to be going through the kid's head, that he's just got up from being put down. And they've got to refocus him, get him back on the game plan and keep his spirits up and not let his head drop and not let any negativity come into it. And, you know, I don't know what the corner said to him, but they've obviously managed to get their fighter back into a positive frame of mind and to not be dwelling on that knockdown and just to get on with things. So I think it's not just we talk about a lot about the physical in this, about, you know, how good is his chin, how powerful is his punch, but there's obviously mental strength there in Garcia. You know, his head didn't drop after that knockdown. He didn't. He wasn't thinking necessarily about defeat. He wasn't thinking. He still had that belief, and he still had that belief that he could turn it around and go and win the fight. And I think that speaks volumes.
All right, we'll engage the viewers once more. Umar, straight to you. Right.
One second before you do that, bro. I had a call come in, yeah, and I tried to shut it off, and now I can no longer hear you lot from the loudspeaker. I can only hear it from the regular phone.
Oh,
earphone.
wow.
Does anyone have any advice on that?
Yeah, maybe he can leave and come right back in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let me try that.
All right, come back in, man. All right, okay, cool. All right, we're gonna direct this question to H Money. All right, he needs to work on his defense. His defense was exposed by Luke Campbell. Guys like Tank will destroy him with such a defense. If it was Tank, he would have finished Garcia. Good finisher.
Yeah, buddy, that works.
Go back in. Oh, do you know what? Actually, let's direct this to Umar. All right, Umar. All right. So Daniel Olach, all right, he needs to work on his defense. His defense was exposed by Luke Campbell. Guys like Tank will destroy him with such a defense. If he was Tank, he would have finished Garcia. Good finisher. Did you see vulnerabilities?
Yeah, there were. I mean, they've been spoken about before. That's why I didn't want to just repeat the same things. But when I say he earned my respect, because now I know he can fight. But by no means do I mean I think I saw a complete article in there. I'm not saying he's one of the greatest fighters of our time. I'm not saying he's one of the best or, you know, in boxing. I'm just saying that the guy showed he can fight. There were definitely a lot of vulnerabilities. You know, like H mentioned, the neglection of the jab. He was, he did look confused at times. His defense was leaky at times. I was watching from the outside, so when I say about the setup to the knockdown that I was seeing, sometimes it's hard to see from the inside, but there were a lot of things that were happening that he was neglecting. Even his foot placement against the southpaw, he was allowing his left foot to be inside Campbell's right foot throughout the fight, pretty much. There were many things that he needs to work on, but he's just done so well with the team that he's with that he was able to come through with that. And I genuinely think without that team, he probably wouldn't have won last night. You know, so he's by no means a finished article. And if he's gonna fight Gervonta, I'm not saying Gervonta is a finished article either, but it's not a given at the moment. Either way, though, if they want to get it cracking, I'm happy to watch.
Would you say that one of the weaknesses is maybe him going backwards, fighting backwards, because Tank is going to press him. Yeah, Teofimo will probably press him. I think Haney will be a lot more slicker in and about the ring. All right, going backwards, a big puncher. Would we say that kind of would be his weakness? Maybe fighting backwards.
No, because he's a natural counter puncher. So going backwards is what he does. It's probably where he boxes best. When he hurt Campbell, the first left hook, that was a counter shot. Campbell came with a lead backhand, and Garcia just stepped back, half a step back, left hook, bang. And then the body shot wasn't necessarily a counter shot, but his momentum was coming forward at that time as well. So, yeah, he's stronger going backwards.
H Money, I saw on Twitter last night, there were some people, you know, we get the Twitter trolls, man. They come out during the fights. And a couple of the Twitter trolls were saying that Ryan Garcia, for all his power, is a little bit flat-footed. Now, Devin Haney, we know, you know, he can get from A to B around the ring, real slick. Is that where Haney beats Ryan Garcia?
Yes, Devin Haney is a well-rounded fighter, and Devin Haney, he can take away his opponent's greatest strength, which is Ryan Garcia's left hook. Devin Haney will be able to neutralize Ryan Garcia's left hook and make adjustments in the fight. You know, Ryan Garcia, he does have a puncher's chance in every fight that he's in, but I just feel like Devin Haney, his boxing IQ is too much for Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney is not going to make those same mistakes as Luke Campbell did, you know, and Ryan Garcia has a questionable chin. His chin is suspect. So I feel like Devin Haney will go in there to test Ryan Garcia's chin. But I want to give Ryan Garcia credit, though, because Pro Beez, Ryan Garcia is the only man to stop Luke Campbell. He's the only man that ever knocked out Luke Campbell. He needs credit for that, okay? Ryan Garcia looked like he's very strong in that lightweight division, though. He looked like he's getting stronger. He looked very powerful in that fight. But I feel like Devin Haney is too fast for Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney, his defense is too good. Ryan, he's going to have to step his game up. He's going to have to start throwing his jab. You can't beat Devin Haney with one punch, which is the left hook, because Devin Haney will take that left hook away from him.
Right. Benji, did you see a lack of a jab last night from Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, possibly. But again, before the fight, I actually said it would be a mistake if Garcia tried to have a jabbing contest with a technically very sound southpaw boxer in Campbell. So I think he could have jabbed more. I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm certainly not going to disagree with Umar because, you know, he's a professional boxer. He knows, you know, you've forgotten more than I'm ever going to know. It's too silly of me to say that. So I think he could have jabbed more, but at the same time, to try and have a jabbing contest with a southpaw Olympic gold medalist, I don't think necessarily would have been the best tactics. At the end of the day, Garcia must have done something right because he won by knockout. So I don't think you can dwell too much on it. You know, he had the tactics that won the fight.
What do you reckon, Umar? Lack of a jab as a weakness, or not needed for that a southpaw fighter? Straight right, left hook.
It probably just wasn't part of the game plan. And like you said, you know, they won, so you can't dispute it. Literally, they won.
People always got things to say, you know, like you win, and people still saying you should have done this, you should have done that. You just cannot please some people, can you?
No, you can't, and that's the job of the observer. You know, they criticize, and for me personally, sometimes I entertain it because sometimes your biggest haters will point out what you need to work on. You know, so not everything that you dislike is a negative thing. You know, with everything that we experience, our interpretation of it makes it what it is. But not to keep speaking about myself, we don't know what the game plan was. What we do know is that Garcia won by a knockout. So whatever he was doing worked.
But But Pro Beez, I want to say this. Styles makes fights. that style, it worked against Luke Campbell, but it doesn't mean it's gonna work against somebody else. So when he starts stepping it up against championship competition, the top guys, the Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, the Devin Haney'S, he's gonna have to do more. He's not gonna get away with that against those top guys.
Okay. So obviously, look, Teofimo Lopez, look, we've got to put some respect in his name. You know what I mean? I think, do you know what? I know you're part of Team Haney, right? But out there, a lot of people are saying that Teofimo is that guy at the moment. And I'm just saying what I've seen on the forum, they're saying that's the guy. He beat Lomachenko, that's the guy. You know what I mean?
He got to fight Haney, though. He still got to see Haney, like Devin told you.
Yeah, you got to come see me. It's crazy. All right, we're gonna engage the viewers, guys. Get your questions in. Smash that like button. We've got a party, man. This is a fine assortment here. You know, Benji, Umar, Sadiq, H Money from the States. Wow, Sunday special, Sunday roast, right? That's the beef from the plate.
Vegas.
Are you in Vegas, H Money?
Oh, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, but I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay. I'm going to be in LA soon.
Well, what was that, brother?
I'm going to be in LA soon.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love it over there, bro. You're not going to want to leave.
Oh, no, I don't. I just came back. That's why I'm going back again.
All right. Makes sense. Okay. Do you go supper club? Oh, the clubs are shut down, aren't they?
Everything's shut down, man. I just love the weather, the training. I love the way the people are. It's just it's a different vibe, but in a good way. It feels very natural to me. I like it.
I got connect out there, man. I'm gonna talk to you later about that.
Right, so no more.
Let's just all go to LA. Let's just all go. I haven't been for a few years now. Me and the wife absolutely loved it. Let's just all go. I need some time on Santa Monica Beach.
All right, guys, get your questions in. All right, there's a few of them. All right, at Top Boxer. There's one here at Top Boxer. All right. Mad Chad. Garcia's body was wide open. See what happened to Luke is going to happen to Ryan.
Potentially, yeah. It was definitely there to be exploited. And it's hard to block the head and the body at the same time. And Garcia almost doesn't have a crouch in his back when he stands in his guard. Now, the thing is, when you put your hand up, because your forearm's only so long, hence why I'm saying it's hard to protect the head and the body at the same time. The way you protect the body and the head at the same time is you crouch over, because then you make your body smaller and the elbow gets lower to cover the body. Well, Garcia doesn't do any of that. So he's mostly only fighting in a position where he can either defend to the head or to the body, hardly ever to both at the same time. So that's where you can feint to the head and go to the body, or vice versa with him. So yeah, it's definitely possible.
Okay, all right. As I was saying, H1 earlier, I saw in fights previous, Garcia's hands were always quite high before he throws that left hook. And I was thinking, okay, well, when he fights Campbell's gonna, just hit him to the body, which he did. But obviously we saw a tough guy in Ryan Garcia. He can take it as well as give it. We saw that last night. So for me, I give him that rubber stamp now. He's certified. So, all right, guys, smash that like button, get your questions in. All right, Zach from last night, the watch along. All right, seen from yesterday's performance, Ryan has now exposed himself. Wow. He must work on his defensive blocking and slipping if he wants to KO Devin or Tank. Right, Benji, over to you, mate.
Well, I think it's quite easy after a performance to say, oh, the boxer's been exposed. But at the age of 22 and where he's at in his career, he is going to get better. He's got a team of people around him that are going to analyze that last night, and they're going to work on these things. So just because you saw certain things in last night's performance, it doesn't mean that it can necessarily be exploited in a fight further down the line, because depending who Garcia is fighting, the tactics are going to change. He might have seemed a little bit exposed in certain areas because he chose certain tactics. Like we were talking with the jab. A lot of people could say, well, he's not using the jab very much. But that was just for that fight. If he's fighting someone else, the game plan might be to use a jab a lot more, which is going to open up other things. So I think, that language that someone's been exposed or exposed themselves, I think it's a bit too dramatic for what has actually happened. Okay, we can identify flaws and things in a 22-year-old boxer who's still improving. But I think that whole you could say that Mayweather exposed Canelo. Look at what Canelo's gone on and done since that fight. If Mayweather had exposed him so much, why has no one else been able to do that to Canelo since? It's because Canelo improved massively and learned a hell of a lot from that contest. Got a bit older, got a bit wiser, got a bit stronger.
And he's also training in the same gym as Canelo, Eddie Ryan.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
It's going to help. It's going to help to tighten up those flaws. All right, Umar.
Yeah.
All right, October Red. Umar, do you know what advice Garcia was getting in the corner as you're learning Spanish? I thought at one point they were telling Garcia to catch him with an overhand right.
I could barely hear what was being said because, again, I was watching a fight with people and no one shuts up. So it was hard to hear anything. Even the commentary I just about heard. But I heard Garcia's name so much, you would have thought he was shadow boxing or something. So no, I wasn't able to listen.
But Umar, okay, we talked about things that maybe Garcia needs to work on. Now, he loads up a lot. He plants his feet a lot. Could the footwork be better? Could he be on the balls of his toes a lot more? Because he was planting quite a lot.
He was planting a lot, but did he have to pay for it? So did he not move his feet? Maybe he didn't need to. Again, styles make fights. You got to do what you got to do within the fight. And another thing that we're talking about earlier was that, is he open to the body? Yeah, when he comes in behind the high guard, his body's open. But if he's not going to get hit there, there's a reason. And, footwork there are three forms of defense. One is dodging, weaving, rolling, whatever. So evading, blocking, and then there's using your feet. So if he's coming in with a high guard and you're going for the body, but he's taking half a step out, he's making you miss that way, then to do that, you got to have good footwork, right? But ultimately, he wasn't made to look vulnerable at any point in the fight as a result of not moving his feet. Therefore, maybe he does have bad footwork, but I would say that fight exposed that.
All right, H money to you, right? Okay. So a year ago, Luke Campbell fights Lomachenko. He loses the fight, but people after that say, look, he's exposed Lomachenko, but he's shown the blueprint how to beat Lomachenko, right? Has Luke Campbell done it again? Has he found the blueprint to defeat Ryan Garcia with that second round knockdown?
I wouldn't say he gave us the blueprint on how to beat Ryan, but he did expose a few things. He showed us that Ryan Garcia, he's open for the left hook. He's open for body shots as well. He did some good things in that fight. You got to give Luke Campbell credit. He came to fight. He had a great performance, but he came up short. It's like he comes up short in most of his big fights. He has 4 losses now, but he's a good opponent. He's a tough fighter, but I don't think he gave us the blueprint. I don't feel like he exposed Ryan like that. He had some good moments. Ryan got dropped, but who didn't get dropped, bro? Everybody been dropped, especially if you're going to war. Muhammad Ali got dropped by Joe Frazier. He got back up. Andre Ward got dropped by Darnell Boone. Plenty of great fighters went down, but the most important thing is he got back up. Just because the man got dropped doesn't mean anything. Aaron Pryor been dropped. All the greats, but Ryan Garcia got back up. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, Umar. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, if anything, the only thing that he showed that he wasn't being forced to show was that he doesn't have the best composure and accuracy. So there were times when Luke looked hurt especially I think it was the 5th or the 6th. No, was it the 5th? No, it was the 6th when he almost blew his load. But there were a few other moments in the fight where he would think he's got Luke going, and he would throw a combination and come at him. But he wasn't picking his shots. He wasn't setting them up. He was just coming in and throwing shots and hoping they'll land. And Luke could quite comfortably back up with defensive responsibility and catch the shot, roll the shot, get back out. So he would have to improve on that if he wants to stop world level opponents, because clearly that strategy doesn't work. Yeah, he stopped Luke Campbell anyway, but that was a one-shot knockout. It wasn't because of a combination like what he was going for, did it? But also he showed an eagerness and a certain level of bravado and pride when he did it that a lot of top fighters will be able to exploit. Okay, I see what you do. When I catch you with a good shot, I know you're coming. But I also know, you know, you're just going to throw the shot. So I'm going to slip cat and I'm going to shoot in between. So that's something I would say they've got to work on. But whether or not they do, I don't know. I don't have access to the team. But then obviously you're international, so of course they're going to be watching.
All right, man. Okay, so let's engage the viewers a little bit more. I mean, how you guys for time? How you for time, Umar?
I'm kind of pressed, I'm gonna lie.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll give you one question before you can shoot out, and then we'll carry on with H Money and Benji. That's good. All right. So, all right, Craig Burton. Fair play to Campbell, but Garcia will get caught by Tank Davis. This is far from a British fight. Garcia is too open. All right, so look, I think what the viewer's saying is, look, they're seeing vulnerabilities, they're seeing weaknesses, right? Again, looking at it, would it be best for Ryan Garcia to have a couple more development fights before stepping in there with a Haney or a Lopez or a Tank?
I don't think he should go for Tank or Lopez next. I don't. They're both coming off real highs. And the momentum that they've got at the moment and the way they've looked in the last fights, I think, I mean, he can go for it if he wants, but that's on him. With Haney, they've got that history. The boxers, amateurs, they know each other a lot better. Haney's a solid fighter, but he's not necessarily a one-punch concussive, you know, take you out to another planet kind of puncher. So that would be the safest fight for him. I think simply based on the punch power, because when you see what Lopez did with Richard Comey, sparked him out, and then the way he gained Lomachenko's, he really nullified Lomachenko by making him respect his power. And then Javante, I mean, the guy's knocked out, was it 22 out of 23 fights or 23 out of 24, something like that? It's devastating. So I would say the safest fight for him is Haney, and I'm not saying that because I think Haney's a soft touch or anything. I just think he's less likely to get wiped out by a one-punch knockout. But outside of that, I don't know. I'm not in a position to say. All I'll say is he speaks a lot. He's got a lot of people's attention. He's got the following. He's got the right team. And if he's chasing legacy, then why not go for the fights? Because they're all so young that, you know, they can continue. Those four could be like, they could take it back to the 80s. You know, when you had Hagler, Hearns, and all that. I'm not saying they're going to be as great as those guys, but I'm just saying for excitement value, entertainment value, they can straight up do that and, you know, all fight each other, and they could spend the next 4 to 5 years doing that, and they'll sell out every time if they put on great fights.
All right, Umar, before you go, just for your fans out there, when can we expect to see you back out there?
Honestly, I don't even know. That's something I've been working. So after my last fight, I had a bit of a headache. And so this is funny. I asked my team if we should go to the hospital. I just want to get checked just to make sure everything's cool. So it wasn't, you know, there are lots of articles out there about me coughing up blood or whatever. It's nonsense. But I walked into the hospital myself just to get checked. And then they said, after a 12-round fight, they said there's some abnormalities in your brain scan. The mild symptoms of a hematoma. So I didn't know what that was either. And they said it's basically a bleed to the surface tissue over the brain. So it wasn't actually in the brain, but it's just a couple of layers of tissue above the brain. Now, the British Boxing Board get very squeamish because, of course, nobody likes to get sued. So immediately after they heard that, they suspended me. And I had to wait till the very end of November for them to tell me when I can do another brain scan, because they've apparently got such a backlog of work to do now. So when they told me that, I came back from LA to do the brain scan and to do Christmas with my family. And now I've just got to wait for the British Boxing Board to review that brain scan and give me the all clear. So I literally don't know, man. I mean, my last fight was in September. I'd love to get it cracking. I can't even spar until the scan comes back because, yeah, I feel good. I feel fine. I felt fine all along. I went in precautionary. Do I regret going in to get a check? I'm going to say no, because, you know, health comes first. But it can be frustrating. I'm just trying to what I'm just doing is developing as an individual, making the most of life in the process until I hear back from them. And are they going to get back to me this month? I don't know. Hopefully by February at the latest, because at this point, I mean, I've had about, 5 months out of the ring now, not knowing when I'm going to fight because I'm waiting on a boxing board. It's a bit of a shitty thing. I wish you could just phone someone and go, I'll pay you an extra £100 to do it now. But yeah, so that's the situation. I'm just going to continue working, continue improving my craft. I'm working on things that, you know, I've identified from my last fight. So I'm making my jab better, working on my footwork, working on better decision making, relaxing, controlling the pace in a certain way, even down to things like holding. Like holding was never in my psyche. There were so many moments in the fight when I should have been holding, and it just didn't even cross my mind to hold. So yeah, I'm just working behind the scenes, you know, on making better decisions so that I avoid burning out in the process of waiting. I'm just working smarter rather than harder. And as soon as I know, I'm going to let you guys know. But I have ideas of what I want to do already. So just stay tuned, guys.
All right. We'd like to thank the top boxer, Umar Sadiq, man. Thanks for passing through, man.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy. Enjoy your Sunday roast in the States. I don't know what you're having, but yeah, just have a good day, bro.
All right, man. Cheers, man. Cheers. Cheers. All right. 3 amigos left. All right. Okay. This is kind of like the Royal Rumble. You know, when everyone's just going out top of the ring. You've got the Undertaker. You've got Brock Lesnar left. You know what I mean? You've got the Godfather left, you know. All right. Guys, how are you for time?
Yeah, all good, mate.
Yeah, we'll do another 15 minutes, take up to 3 o'clock. All right. Okay. So let's engage the viewers. Okay. Guys, smash that like button. Pep Talk UK, H Money, Benji's Boxing, Pro Beez. All right. Sean Calderon, proud of Ryan since he's been under a lot of pressure with his 7 million followers. Now, look, to be fair, look, I know, you know, some people might have a giggle about it, but that's a lot of people to try and impress, or that's a lot of people that you might let down. So he's got a weight of his shoulders when he steps in the ring, hasn't he, Benji? Well,
yeah, but I think how can you you can't take the piss out of someone who's for being popular. You know what I mean? You know, show me a boxer out there who would turn down having 7 million followers on social media. You know, it's bigger than that. Show me anyone in any profession in the kind of entertainment sphere, any musician, singer, ballet dancer, whatever. Whatever you're doing these days, especially in the sort of entertainment field or even the YouTube field, Beez, would you turn down 7 million subscribers?
Definitely not.
And the thing is, going on to do these, okay, I would feel probably a little bit nervous coming on to talk to you if I knew that 7 million people were going to be watching and that. But still, the buzz of it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So I think, again, you know, if he's putting stuff on social media of him in the gym training, for me personally, if I was training for a fight and I was like feeling a bit groggy or whatever, and I said to myself, well, hang on, I'm going to go down the gym and post to 7 million followers, and I've got 7 million followers, you know, egging me on and, you know, telling me how great I am, that would motivate me. That would give me, you know, That would give me some a bit more spark, you know. And I think it's a hell of a lot more of a help than a hindrance. And as I've said a million times before now, when you get around the negotiating table and you've got a massive following, you've got a hell of a lot more clout than someone who doesn't.
True words, facts. Okay, H1, this is straight over to you, right? The smoke is coming your way. All right, question mark. There's no name. Ryan might sleep Haney. Haney ain't got no power to deter him coming forward. All right. I leave the floor open to you on that one.
Well, you know, in boxing, anything can happen. So Ryan Garcia, he does have power, no doubt about it. But you're going to need more than power to beat a fighter like Devin Haney. Like I said, Devin Haney, he knows how to take his opponent's greatest strength, take it away from Ryan Garcia. So that power that you're talking about, that left hook, Devin Haney will neutralize that left hook. And what is Ryan Garcia going to do after that? You know, we seen Luke Campbell had him confused in that fight. Luke Campbell had him confused. But, you know, Devin Haney's a different type of fighter. You can't hit what you can't see. Devin Haney has tremendous defense. He has tremendous footwork. So what good of his power if he can't land it? You know, so yeah, you know, he got to set up his punches. He's going to have to do more than throw plenty of hooks. He's going to have to set his punches up against a fighter like Devin Haney to land the big shot. You know what I mean? I don't want to take anything away from Ryan Garcia. He's a tremendous fighter. He has a big-time fan base. Ryan Garcia, he reminds me of Oscar De La Hoya. Ryan Garcia is the new golden boy in boxing. He's the new golden boy. He's the next De La Hoya.
Hey, you know, that is the quote of Sunday. You can't hit what you can't see. Imagine that. Hey, man. I want to holler at Bill, man. If you could as well, try and get Bill. I'm going to try and get David Haney again, and let him speak in this whole 135 division.
I got you. I'll talk to him today, later on today. Hey, bro, and one more thing I want to say. Since he said Ryan asleep Haney, Ryan Garcia is Devin Haney's mandatory. That was the title eliminator. So Ryan Garcia is the mandatory. So if that's the case, Ryan can just step up and fight Devin Haney. And like you say, if he think he can knock him out, why not, you know, fight Devin Haney for the world title? But instead, Ryan Garcia is calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, he just fought the title eliminator so he can fight for the title, but he doesn't want to fight for the belt. What does that tell you? Ryan Garcia doesn't want smoke with Devin Haney, who's on the same network as him. Devin Haney was at his fight for the second time. He's calling out Ryan, but Ryan's calling out Tank, who's on a different network, which is a hard fight to make. Why not fight for that WBC world title, the most prestige belt in boxing? He doesn't want the smoke. Okay,
look. All right, 2 points to that, right? Question to you. Why do you think he would call out Tank over Devin Haney, who's got the world title? Is it potentially because maybe Tank might carry more financial, reward? Would that be possible? Would that be the case? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's because I think Ryan Garcia believes he can beat Gervonta Davis. He's much bigger than Tank. I think he feel like he has the size advantage over Tank Davis. He's a natural lightweight, and he thinks I believe Ryan Garcia believes he can beat Tank Davis. He feels like he can knock him out, but I don't believe he thinks he can beat Devin Haney. He has history with Devin Haney. They faced each other, I believe, 6 times or 4 times in the amateurs. Yeah, so he knows what Devin Haney is all about. He knows Devin Haney really well.
Okay, so you're saying that basically because they fought each other in amateurs, and Garcia's knows what Haney's about. That's why you don't want the fight.
Absolutely. Devin Haney is a world champion. He has the WBC world title. Gervonta is not a champion. He's not a champion at lightweight. So Devin gives you an opportunity for a title shot. It's the same network. It's an easy fight to make. You're the mandatory. We can make it happen next. That's what Devin Haney is saying. But Ryan Garcia, he's trying to do something else.
All right. One more point to Benji before we get back to the viewers. All right. Benji. Okay, there's a couple of things I'll ask you. The first one is, did you see that video on YouTube that Lomachenko was saying that he sparred Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was petrified after the spar. Did you see that?
I haven't seen the video, but I think I saw. That's not the first time I've heard that. I'm sure I've heard that in a tweet. That Lomachenko was saying that Garcia had a different recollection to how that spar went than what it actually went. Because I think Garcia was trying to portray that it was quite a competitive spar, and Lomachenko has recently said that it wasn't competitive at all, and Ryan couldn't do a lot with him. But look, it's sparring, and we've kind of been down this path with so many boxers before on different stories about what happens in sparring and everything like that, and it's kind of irrelevant. But what is relevant, we've kind of done it again, Bees. We've gone through this whole conversation. We've done an hour and 10 minutes now, but we haven't mentioned Lomachenko. We've talked about Haney.
Exactly.
We talked about Garcia. We talked a little bit about Lopez. We talked a lot about Tank. Why? And people have said this in the comments. And look, I don't understand it myself. I did not sit down here to go, right, we're going to talk about these 4 boxers, but we're not going to talk about Lomachenko. We're not definitely. And I don't know why we keep doing this, mate. We're talking about like it being, this division being about these 4 boxers, and Lomachenko. Okay, he got beaten by Lopez, and he hasn't handled the loss particularly well. And we've touched on this before, but I think maybe really we shouldn't be looking at this as a 4-boxer division. It's a 5-boxer division, and to be counting out Lomachenko now and not involving him in this conversation, and I'm just going to talk about myself here. I shouldn't be leaving him out of the conversation. You know what I mean? It's I don't know, and I don't know why I've fallen into this trap of not interjecting the whole Lomachenko element to this. It's going to be he's going to fight again. He's going to come back at some point, and I think it's possible. It's going to go one or two ways. Either we see a renewed Lomachenko who's got the bit between his teeth that wants to prove his dominance, because you got to remember this guy was completely feared. No one wanted to get in the ring with him at all.
No Maschenko.
Well, exactly. I mean, you look at what he did to people like the axe murderer,
Nicholas Walters.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what he did to him. You look at what he did to the other pound for pound great, even though he was
Linares.
Well, there was Linares as well.
Oh, Rigondeaux,
of course.
Yeah.
You look at what he's done to these people, and you look at his resume. So why we don't talk about Loma? So look, he's either going to come back and he's going to reaffirm his dominance and say, "How dare you talk about this division and not include me?" Or we're going to see a Lomachenko that is diminished and has peaked. I actually am leaning towards the first scenario rather than the second. And it's going to be fantastic to see what he is like when he comes back. But writing him off now and not including him is not good. It's not. I don't think it's clever right now.
Because I see a lot of people in the boxing forums. They're kind of saying, "Well, Lomachenko is not really a real 135 fighter. He's more 130s, 130. So he should go down and fight Shakur Stevenson." And that's where like some people are pushing him towards. That's why they're not talking about him with the other 4 that we were talking about for the past hour and a bit.
But look, Tank. You could say similar things about Tank. I think you're going to see the whereas people like Tank and Lomachenko are concerned, the 130 and 135 line is going to get blurred. I think these guys are going to move between divisions, and it's going to be about what fight's going to bring the money and the acclaim and the titles. But I think that both Lomachenko and Tank are going to have that luxury of being able to move between those weights. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, I don't think they're going to be able to do that because they're both, early 20s. They're still going to be growing. They've still got, they're still growing in strength and that. And again, I thought Garcia looked big last night. I thought he looked big in the ring. So if anything, Garcia is going to move up the weights, not down them. Whereas I think that Lomachenko and Tank, I can't see them go. I can't see either of them progressing necessarily to 140.
Have these guys like H Money, the likes of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, have these guys sort of made their own oligopoly, now for the future where they just fight each other and make the money? Because it's looking at it like that at the moment. Young guys, talented guys, and they'll just fight for the belts amongst themselves, and that's it. There's loads of great matchups between all of them.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see it like a lightweight tournament, a 4-man tournament, like a Final Four. You get Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, and do it like that, and let the winners fight against each other. Let's make an undisputed champion. I think it's time to make those big fights happen. Devin Haney, I know for a fact he wants to fight Teofimo Lopez for undisputed, for all the belts. He wants to fight Ryan Garcia, who is his mandatory. He wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. But do they want to step up and fight him? Like Loma, he was feared. I remember where a lot of guys were ducking him. Gervonta Davis wanted no smoke with him. But Devin Haney, he was calling him out. He called him Lomachenko. And, Lomachenko didn't want anything to do with Devin Haney. You know what I mean? So Devin wants that smoke for sure. And who wants to fight him? That's the question. Who is calling out Devin Haney right now out of these top guys? None of those guys are calling him out that want that fight with him.
Do you know what, Benji? That's an interesting point. Really, is anyone really calling out Devin Haney? Like, thinking about it, like H Money just said that. Have they really called out Devin Haney?
Well, again, you kind of have to. There's a lot of elements at play here. And it's like the whole Lomachenko thing. One of the reasons why he found it difficult to get a fight was because he didn't command a massive audience. I mean, the fact that we had Lomachenko and Rigondeaux, who at the time were probably top 5 pound for pound, and you look at the audience that drew, and you look at the viewing figures, it wasn't great, and it was kind of a little bit heartbreaking because boxing fans like us, we were hyped for that. We couldn't wait for this fight to see how it was going to play out. It didn't appeal to the wider public. Now, the thing with Devin Haney, technically very good boxer, he's not, and I don't want to disrespect anyone here or anything like that, he hasn't got 7 million followers on Instagram. So there's going to be this weighing up. Okay, do I want to have a potentially difficult night with a bit of a Rubik's Cube with a technically very sound boxer, and it's going to be for this amount of money? Or do I want to have a bigger payday against someone who is, like Garcia's, perceived to have more power, or Tank's perceived to have more power? Or do I want to have, go for the bigger amount of money? And then, of course, you weigh up what's more important to boxers. Is a title more important, or is money more important? If titles and legacy is more important, they're probably going to go down the Devin Haney route because he got a title. You got that WBC title. If it's more about money, and take for instance someone like Ryan Garcia, 22 years old, he might say, well, why don't I secure the money first and then go after the titles and the legacy later on? So it's a more complicated thing, and it does come down to money and negotiations. But I have to say, when you start leaving out, when you're calling people out and you're not calling out title holders and you're not calling out someone, who's up there as the best, it's not a good look. I'll definitely give it that. It's not a good look. The guy who's got the belt should be the name that you're calling out in a perfect world. But I understand that there is more to it than that. But yeah, there you go.
All right. So H Money. So is it a question? So is that potentially your answer? So that it's maybe about followers? Is it about followers?
Nah, I don't think so, brother, because now Devin, he's with Eddie Hearn. He's with DAZN. Devin has been making millions since he was 20 years old. So Devin, in his last fight, he made double the amount of money that Teofimo Lopez made to fight against Lomachenko. Ryan Garcia hasn't made $1 million yet. So Devin is offering people their biggest paydays and a shot at a world title. So it's not about money. You know, it's not about the money. You know, if they want legacy, we got the WBC world title, and he's willing to put it on the line against any of the top guys. So that these fighters are going to get a shot at legacy and their biggest payday. But, you know, like Benji said, Devin Haney has a style that can make anybody look bad. He's a master. He's a master boxer. He's a master in controlling the range of a fight and controlling the distance in a fight, similar to an Andre Ward, you know? So Devin Haney, he's definitely a tough matchup for anybody. And I think this is the real reason why a fighter like Ryan Garcia will rather fight against Gervonta Tank Davis, who has a lot of flaws in his game. We seen that in a Leo Santa Cruz fight. So I think that's why, bro. I think they don't want to get in the ring with Devin for a lot of reasons.
You got to respect that answer. Hell of an answer. I got no comeback to that.
Yeah, that answer was just ready like that. Okay, you want to pull that one? Boom, here comes the smoke. All right, guys, we're going to engage the viewers. Last 10 minutes. Guys, get your questions in on what happened last night. Ryan Garcia stopping Luke Campbell. All right. H-Money, this guy's coming for you. Question mark. Ryan got a deadly check left hook. Only thing Haney checks are his emails.
God, wow. That's terrible. No, this guy never goes into a rap battle.
Bro. Hey, last time I checked, Devin Haney is the WBC world champion. The world champion. Teofimo Lopez is the one that emailed and petitioned for the French fries belt. You know what I mean? So it's Teofimo Lopez out here with Teofimo Lopez is the real email champion because he petitioned for that franchise belt. And if he wants that real WBC world title, we can make it happen next. But instead, Teofimo Lopez is trying to cherry pick and trying to find a way out. Try to go fight a George Kambosos Jr. when everybody want to see the undisputed match. So we all know Teofimo Lopez is the email champion who has a fake franchise belt. And Devin Haney is the world champion. And he could fight, Teofimo Lopez could fight Devin Haney next. So we could settle it like that. But he doesn't want that smoke.
Wow, you heard that. He doesn't want the smoke.
I've never heard about an email belt before. You know it's 2021 when people are talking about email belts. That's fantastic.
That's crazy. So, okay, so where are we with this potential matchup between Haney and Lopez? I mean, Devin Haney said to me, look, as we noted earlier, he's got to come see me. You know, I am the WBC lightweight world champion. For him to be undisputed, he has to fight me. And I haven't heard much more since then, but Devin was saying, well, you know, I'm open to doing it. So have there been any talks between the camps?
Well, I seen recently Teofimo Lopez, he was talking to Eddie Hearn. I believe everybody probably seen that that conversation they had. Teofimo Lopez said he wants $10 million to fight Devin Haney. Eddie Hearn said, sure, we can make it happen. But, you know, I know Devin wants that fight. He wants that fight first. The number one fight that Devin Haney wants is the undisputed match against Teofimo Lopez for all the belts, the legacy fight. But it takes two to tangle. It takes two to rumble. And Teofimo Lopez, he's talking about fighting against Ryan Garcia. He wants to fight against George Kambosos Jr. The name that he won't mention is Devin Haney. He makes every excuse in the world not to fight Devin. First is Devin is what do you say? Devin is not a real champion. But last time I checked, Devin Haney is the WBC world title. I mean, he's the WBC world champion. So then he said, oh, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. I'm going to move up to 140. And then he said he's going to fight George Kambosos at 135. It's a whole lot of excuses from Teofimo Lopez. But I know for sure, Devin Haney wants that fight with Lopez next. He wants that fight more than anything. He wants Lopez.
All right. Well, okay. So that's coming from the horse's mouth. He wants Lopez. And that's a fight that I want to see. I want to see that generally. All right, guys, get your questions in. We've got 5 minutes left on the clock. All right, let's go. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed already. Pep Talk UK, Benji, H Money bags. You know, that duffel bag, man. It's right on his left-hand side. Okay. All right. H Money, he doesn't want Tank. Money man. As in what, Devin Haney? Okay.
Man, Devin Haney wants all of those guys, man. He wants, like I said, Ryan Garcia, who's his mandatory. He wants that fight. That's an easy fight to make. He wants Teofimo Lopez for undisputed. We don't want to hear about networks. Oh, no, we don't want to hear about sides of the street because Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, they always make fights with each other. They made Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. They just made Anthony Joshua versus Pulev. They always do business. So we can make that fight happen.
All right, okay. Jim McDonald, how you doing, mate? Regular viewer. Okay, Moneyman saying again, Oscar said Ryan wasn't ready for Tank. No, I think what Oscar, I saw that interview on Fight Hype. I think he said they don't know what they're going to do right now. He didn't specifically say it's going to be Tank next. He kind of said, look, they're going to talk about what they're going to do. So Timothy Thomas is saying Ryan needs 2 years before eating from the top table. Okay, 7.8 million followers probably means that you can probably eat straight away. That's my opinion, but Benji, am I wrong?
Look, well, as far as I'm concerned, he ate from the top table last night. Again, you know, well, you know, look, again, let's give. Last night was a hell of a win for Ryan Garcia because, and I say that because I rate Luke Campbell very, very highly. If you don't rate Luke Campbell very highly, then you're saying that he's not eating from the top table. And, you know, you're entitled to that opinion. I disagree with it because I rate Luke very highly. And it's not just because he's a Brit. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's been in with Lomachenko, Linares. You know, what more do you want? Now, does he need 2 more years? Well, it's not about that. It's you know, if you have 2 fights over the next 2 years, it's going to be a lot longer than that. If you have 8 fights over the next 2 years, then there's a hell of a lot more experience gained, isn't there? So it doesn't work in years, in time, in weeks and months. It's about fights. Now, I believe that Ryan Garcia is going to be a hell of a lot better in 2, 3, 4 fights' time than he is now. But I think the same thing about Devin Haney. These are young guys. You know, they're still developing. They're still maturing mentally and physically. So what these guys are going to be like in a few years' time is very, very different to what they are now. But I think what needs to happen is Ryan Garcia needs to continue boxing at a decent level. There's no point in him now going in with 2 or 3, 4 opponents that he's just going to blast out there in 2 or 3 rounds or less. He ain't going to learn anything from that. He needs to be in there with durable people that are going to push him and that are going to maybe ask questions. People of the style of like someone like an Ivan Mendy or someone like that, you know, who's going to put pressure on him. Like we were talking before about boxing on the back foot. He needs to be in with someone who's going to put pressure on him, that is going to have to force him to be using that left hook as a counter punch on the back foot. And, you know, if he wants to develop the jab, if the jab is a problem, he needs someone that's going to come at him where he's going to need to create the angles and use that jab. So it's not about years or weeks or months. It is about fights and it's about level of opposition. And, you know, all of Ryan Garcia's team, they're going to be thinking about this. And it comes down to matchmaking, sensible matchmaking. You want people that are going to, he's going to have to rise to the occasion to beat, people who are going to pressure him, people who are going to ask questions of him, because obviously that's how you improve. But at the same time, he's got to look good beating these guys to keep his stock and profile up. So, I think he's eaten at the top table already. I think there's plenty of room for improvement there. It's how they bring him along from here on.
All right. That's a wrap. Guys, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Smash that like button so we can keep this going. So it's worth our while to keep it going. Subscribe also to H Money's YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. H, you want to shout out your channel? Yes,
you guys can subscribe to me at H Money, Mr. DAZN. Man, we talking boxing, exclusive interviews with Bill Haney. Come check me out. I appreciate it, Pro Beez. Anytime you need me on the panel, I'm available. Anytime, just let me know. And Benji, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate watching you guys.
All right. Benji, you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, at the Benji Life on Twitter, and I'm gonna upload a video to my own YouTube channel. That's gonna happen this week, right after I subscribe to H Money's YouTube channel, because I need to do that and get involved there. But big things for this year. It's been a pleasure, gents. Pro Beez, thank you very much for having me back. And H Money, it's always a pleasure to talk and converse boxing with you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my brothers.
Guys, all right. Thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Pep Talk UK. We out, ya. Thank you.